Hey YouTube, Beanie in the bedroom here, Guitar Junky. I'm going to play some Bluesion with my Eddie Van Halen signature guitar. Yeah. One take Beanie. I wasn't really too satisfied with that. I slipped down here, had a couple of googlies, fluffernutters, but I hate that when my big fat feet, I go to turn off the overdrive channel, make it quieter in here, and I wound up stepping on the reverb, because the reverb only sounds good on clean amps. It doesn't sound good when it's distorted. In my personal opinion, I don't like it. It thins out the tone. You work so hard to get the sound just right, you know. But yeah, I have to say that the setup on this guitar, these strings are the lowest action I've ever had on any guitar since the 80s. The 80s when I had Ibanez Gems and Jacksons and Kramers. They were set up like this. This is almost like having a flat neck. The action is so low. And the funny part is that the pickups stick up so high out of the body, you know, almost like the way an SG is set up, that what I wind up doing is putting my pinky, and my pinky grabs the bottom part of the pickup. And then I find myself, as I'm going for the arm, you know, muting the string. So it's like, then I do that. I'm like, oh man, I did that while I was playing as well. But I don't know what made me pull this thing out. I was just like, I played everything in here so many times over, because I come in at least twice a day for a couple of hours, and I just play. And you know, I go through my finger exercise as much as I could, you know, also doing it like this. All the way up and down the neck. And then I just go through my tracks just to remember them, because I don't read or write music. And I'm afraid I'm going to forget, because I've forgotten a lot of stuff already. Stuff I've been playing since I was a kid. In my teens, I used to come home from school and my buddies would come over to hang out, and I'd be like, I wouldn't answer the door. I'm in my bedroom playing my guitar, practicing my stuff, putting on either Deep Purple, Kiss, Santana, or Peter Frampton, and just trying to learn, you know, going like that, and then putting the needle back, and going and putting the needle back, you know, where I want to be. So yeah, I used to tell them, don't come over right after school. Give me about an hour before you come over, you know. And they'd still be knocking on the door, and I'm just playing, kind of thing. Either that, or I'd just be in my garage. I would just sometimes, like in the summertime, I would go into my garage, bring out all my stuff, bring out the radio or whatnot. Something that, you know, that's not too big, because back in those days, everything, a radio, an 8-track, you know, because we had 8-tracks back in the house, not just in the car, and phonographs. Sometimes you can get one that was about almost the size of this, or a little portable one, you know, one that looks like a suitcase, and you open it up, and you get the little speakers that you could plug into on the side or detach. Some of them would hook onto the side, and then play that, and then play. And I remember, even back then, in those days, I always had a boosting my amp. And there's the amp that I actually used right there. That's my original. If I'm showing it correctly, I can't see. That's my Fender Princeton. And I've been playing that since I bought it. I got my first electric guitar at age 14. 2 years later, I was 16. I was working at Pat and Jim's Italian restaurant on 112 in Patchogue, Medford, Long Island, New York. And I bought that amp from Jim's brother Pat, that was the pizza maker, for $50, and I still have it. And one of my buddies, professional musician, he gigged with that for the longest time, and then gave it back to me. You know, I had sold it to him at one time, and he, I don't know, he was the one that, because I got it in pristine condition, he was the one that kind of like, you know, put the wear and tear on it. And I'm at his house in his studio, and I just saw it, and I had that nostalgic, you know, feeling, and I was like, hey man, can I buy that back to you? And he just handed it to me. I said, here you go. So, and he's been playing since he was a kid. He was 16 when he was on his first TV show performing. So I was happy with that. I felt bad that he gave it to me, so I had a 7-string guitar that I didn't care for it. It made the neck so much fatter, and I gave him that because I wasn't going to use it, and I felt like we should, like an Indian, you know, Indians when they back in the day, they give you something, you got to give them something back. I would have to, you know, reciprocate with a trade. Yeah, so I used to play with that and play in my garage, you know, and most of the times I just have the door down, and then I'd have, you know, the girls from the neighborhood knocking on the door, and I'd pick it up, and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hanging out. Then they're like, well, why don't you just keep the door open? And I was like, all right, you know, and then they kept it open, and I would entertain like the whole neighborhood. I had the house across the street from me, the houses that went, because we were on a street that went like this, which streets that went this way. We were on a main strip. So the houses that went this way, the guys I went to school with, they were 1 or 2 houses over, and they said, we could hear you playing from our backyard. So they said, yeah, we'll have some entertainment while we're having dinner. So yeah, I pulled this puppy out, and I just, it's been in the case for so long, and it's got a Floyd Rose, Eddie Van Halen Floyd Rose. That's all it says on it. Doesn't say special or original or anything like that. It's got the hockey stick, upside down banana headstock. It's got Eddie Van Halen tuners on there. Satin maple neck. You could see that the locking nut, the screws going through like they used to back in the day, and then they stopped. I think it was weakening the structure of the headstock from the neck, I think. Ebony fingerboard, 22 nickel frets. They look like clay dot inlays, clay dot side markers. That's your Eddie Van Halen stamp on the plate for the back plate. And I just got 2 screws because there's no holes cut here to put a screwdriver in case I ever have to adjust it. This is for the kill switch. That's for the toggle, and that's for the you know, electronics. And from what I remember, nothing was shielded, the covers or the cavities. But you know, belly cut, nice size Stratocaster body. Almost seems like it's a little bit smaller, maybe, than an original. And this is the what do they call this? The Burl maple top or something like that. But yeah, this is one of the deals I had gotten from one of the 3 warehouses on Long Island, New York. I think you have your Pro Audio, your Pitbull, and something else, AMS, or I can't think of it right now because, you know, with my mind, it's a mystery. But yeah, they were having a sale again around Christmas time, from what I remember, and they said it was like an open box. You know, buy one, it was an open box, and it was like dirt cheap. Then when I said okay, they sent me an email. I think I mentioned this. Oh, we have a brand new one, brand spanking new, that was never opened, never been touched, for $80 more. And I said, no, I want the one that's the open box. And they sent me this one here, and guess what? It wasn't an open box. I think it was just a gimmick to try to, you know, get you to, you know, hook you, bait and switch. Like a lot of YouTubers I've been noticing are doing that on their thumbnail. they tell you they're going to show you something, or tell you something's going to happen, and then you click on it, and then what they say doesn't even happen. And that annoys the snot right out of me. Especially when it comes to the people that are like, you know, in things from the news or politicians. You know, oh yeah, The View, you know, finally fired Whoopi Goldberg. And I'm like, you know, inside I'm like, yeah, you know, that vicious, vile, lying, hating bunch of women, you know, be gone with all of them. All The View is being pulled off the air. And then you click on it and it doesn't even happen. Well, that's my point. Either that or the YouTubers that are like, you know, and then the other ones are going, yeah, that's just me. That gets to me. So, with that said, I totally forgot where I was going with the stuff. So the guitar. No, I was the one that when I got it, I opened it up. It was the original tape. It wasn't tape over tape. It had all the, you know, everything on it, the styrofoam over here, and it was wrapped up, and it was the whole bit. It was never opened. So I had gotten it dirt cheap from one of the three, or maybe more, at least three of them that I know that are from New York that you can get. It's a warehouse that has them, and they're like overstocked sometimes. You get a good deal. And that's how I got this thing here. And it was like, this is sweet, because, you know, this is, and I keep on saying two, but I've got 3 Stratocaster body super shredders. I got this one, I've got the Schecter, and then I've got my Chauvel. If I were to put them in order of number 1 to number 3, I would say number 1 would be my Schecter, and I know I've said number 1 for my Chauvel many a times, but that's simply because I forgot I had the Schecter. And then 2, so I would say number 1 Schecter, number 2 the Chauvel, and number 3 my and I think this is inspired by Fender, or licensed by Fender. This is my made in Mexico Eddie Van Halen Stratocaster. So that's the order I would put them in. And I've mentioned it before where, you know, I try, not only because I can't use it like I used to, but I just use it a little bit, because I used to really, whenever I got an arm on, you know, a guitar with a Floyd, I would always take the arm, put it in a vise, and bend it up even higher, so that when I dive down, my knuckles don't hit the body. Because a lot of times I'm playing and I'm going like that, and my fingers are bent and they're preventing me. But now with this one here, what I do is I hit the, and I've shown it before, but in case you're watching this video for the first time, I've done this. Hit the dead swing. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. I just learned something else. Oh, I'm happy with that now. That gave me the idea of using on the toggle switch on my LP guitars, by turning down the volume on the neck pickup, and then just going, and then like that, by having the volume off on the neck pickup. And I got that idea from the dead switch on this guitar. So it's funny how different things pop into my head. And I kid you not, when I'm going back to the early 80s, all the things that I see people doing now, I did it. I thought of it back in the day. I thought of it because I do that in one of my songs where like that, And then I do, I've also done the, then I've done the, then I saw Satriani doing that, and I'm like, wow, I thought of that before him. So, you kind of, you know, when someone says they take credit for doing something first, like I know there's a thing between Brad Gillis and the guy from Journey, saying they both say that they were the first ones to put a Floyd Rose on a guitar. You've got guys that were, you know, ZZ Top, that, you know, said, you know, that said, oh, pretty much everyone said they started the harmonics. And I think they may have, but I've heard Hendrix do it. Now, I don't know if he did it by accident. And I've also heard Hendrix doing like hammer-ons, like that, which, you know, Eddie Van Halen took it to another level. So, and then I've seen, you know, plenty of guys doing it. First time I ever saw that was Hotel California, when they had that live version of that song, and they were, I think the two of them were doing it, but I saw Joe Walsh doing that first. But again, just like the first guy that bent the string, you know, the first guy that did vibrato, or like the B.B. King, or the, you know, the first guy that bent the strings was another black blues player, and that's only because he broke his string so many times. He used to tie him in a knot, and he couldn't slide because he'd rip his finger open. So, from what I recall, he was the first one that bent a string. The rest, I'm sure, just like myself, stuff just comes to you, you know, and you know, you find it out or make it up as you're going along. And if I did it, someone else could do it. It's just like comedians almost telling the same joke. Why wouldn't that happen? I hate when guys get, you know, guys go up and rip a comedian. Oh, so-and-so told that joke. Well, it is possible that they had the same thought pattern and just basically told the same joke, right? Yeah. So, I'm curious to know where I was going before, and I lost. It was like the rowboat. You're in a rowboat, and then one oar falls off, and then you're trying to fix that one, and the other one falls off. You know, I know I was going somewhere and was trying to make a point. I won't know until I play the video back, and then I'll go, oh, that's what I meant. And I do that all the time. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Sorry for the long, drawn-out stories. They just pop into my head, and I just let it out, you know. So have a good day and a better tomorrow.